Vijay Mantri, MD and CEO of Pramerica IMF, joins us right now on the show. Vijay, good having you. Thanks so much for taking the time out. Is the practice on for the marathon, Vijay?
Thank you. Yeah, it's going on.
Well, we hope that the market also kind of
is not helping because...
Now, we hope the market also gives that kind of a run. But Vijay, before we talk about the markets, I really want your view on something that is probably holding more importance right now today morning, and that's what's happening with the IT pack. The consensus opinion on the street today morning or over the last 2 days has been that I know you can't talk stock specific, but just wanting a general sense from you. The consensus opinion is get out of Infosys. There is increased polarization because there is now probably just one or a handful of couple of stocks which investors would probably look to invest into. What's your sense after the two big numbers that have come out?
No, I think we have been underweight on Infosys and overweight on TCS, and our understanding is that the IT company will continue to face some headwinds, and the benefit of rupee depreciation is not that significant. What people are looking at is what has been the growth as far as dollar billing is concerned. And we also belong to a global company, so we know the kind of challenges every global company is facing. And most of the IT companies have exposure to the banking and financial and insurance space, and there definitely there are a lot of cost cutting happening. And most of the business come from developed world which are facing all kind of challenges. So we believe that right now IT is not the flavor of the month, and we need to be really stock specific, looking out where the exposure of these companies are and from where they're going to generate the revenue growth. So I think the big challenge for IT company continue to remain is the revenue growth, and we don't see any clarity on that emerging in near future.
But after the run-up that we've already seen in TCS, how much more headroom do you see from the current levels, Vijay?
No, I can't comment on a specific stock, but what we can say is that within the IT space, though we are underweight on the IT, but within the IT space, we like certain ideas and we are overweight on those ideas because we see these company continue to grow their businesses. And the second thing is that though they are not going to go up dramatically from these levels, but there's a lot of liking for these stocks because they seem like the other stocks which have the high corporate governance and good track record and also growing at a pretty decent pace. So they will continue to get decent valuation in future as well.
Vijay, what's the sense on the index as well? We spoke about IT, but what are you doing on the index right now? What are you doing on the markets per se? Is this are these levels, are these valuations, are these times where you're looking to put in money, or you're just sitting on whatever cash you had, if you had, and waiting for better levels?
No, we are almost 100% invested in the market, and whatever cash we keep is because of the possibility of some customer want to take money out. But as a call on the market, we are 100% invested. And I think this market is very interesting market, and this market remind me of the market in 1999-2000, where one end of the economy was all the ITs and telecommunication stock doing fabulously well, available at 30, 40, 50 P multiple. Another hand, you have the old economy stock which were available around 10 or kind of P multiple. Today the market is identical. Today have one side of the market which is like FMCG segment available at 35, 30 P multiple, and lots of good quality stock in the banking and infrastructure and in capital goods space available at historical low valuation. So market may not move anywhere, but there's a good opportunity to make money if you're a right stock picker. So we are 100% invested. The second thing is that what is more important than absolute market level is how customer makes money. And we did a very interesting studies. If you have invested in SIP ever from year 1980 till 2012, there's only few period in between you have made less than 10%. And if the market from 17,500 goes to 21,000, then you will not have any period where you have made less than 10% gain, annualized gain on your portfolio. So market 21,000 to 21,000, if you are a SIP investor, you end up making more than 10% CAGR on your portfolio. So as a customer, we believe that is one of the best way. We believe the market is continue to remain volatile, but SIP is a fantastic way to participate. We strongly believe that Indian market right now is valued absolutely from a long-term investing perspective is a good time to enter in the market.
But Vijay, in the near term, do you think we would require concrete policy developments for the market to inch higher significantly?
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. If the market has to go up quite significantly from these levels, then definitely we need policy reform, because what we have seen in last couple of years is consumer-driven market really, but it is not investment-driven. And investment-driven really can only happen if there's a conducive environment. We do speak to business leaders, and there's a consensus that they are a little concerned about the things not moving on the policy front. And we believe that after the president election get over, I think the lot of policymakers are meeting various industry people, and the news there is very good. They're asking the right kind of questions. There's a huge level of engagement. I can say from mutual fund and life insurance perspective, the engagement level has been very good. Today they are in the mood to listen. So I think these are a good sign. And we hope that post-president election, I think the reform will start. May not be at the pace where we used to be, but perhaps much better than what we have witnessed in the last couple of years.
Vijay, what happens to, you mentioned that the market seems to be polarized, with valuations in certain pockets extremely high and valuations in certain pockets mouth-watering. But that's been the case for the last 6 to 8 months really. Where are you finding favor? Are you increasing your, when you've deployed cash in the last 2 or 3 months, have you bought into distress, or have you still bought growth?
No, I think we bought more into capital goods and industrials and banking space and less into FMCG. And the market can test your patience and conviction. And for instance, if you look at from 1990 to 2000, it is not the question of 6 months or 8 months. It is approximately 12 months. We have witnessed those who holding old economy stocks suffer, and those who holding IT stock were doing very well. So market give an opportunity to everyone to feel like is a hero. But in the long term, what get valued is the intrinsic value of the company. So you are absolutely right that in last 6 to 8 months, we haven't seen anything significant movement as far as these stocks are concerned. But you look at historically, are these companies good company? We believe these companies are fantastic company. What is the best time to own these companies? The best time to own these companies when these are absolutely out of favor. And today we believe if you look at company like BHEL, L&T, you look at banking stock, they are fantastic opportunity to make money. I'm not saying that one need to go and invest in L&T or BHEL or any of the stock we are talking about. But I think if you look from a valuation perspective, the best time to own this stock is perhaps when the negative is, every negative is priced in the stock. So we believe from these level, I think capital good, IT, industrial will do well in next, I think, 12 to 24 months period.
Vijay, when you say banking, would the tilt be towards the private banking lot? Because it seems like the NPA concerns are going to continue to haunt at least the PSU side for some more time.
I think private banking, yes, but even the private banking, the valuation, some banks' valuation is pretty steep, so one has to be very selective. But if you look at the PSU bank, I think it's a very interesting space, because lots of negative has been priced in. And even if you look at NBA and restructuring of the loans, I think the restructured loans are not going to go belly up. I think the restructured loan become a good loan over a period of time, because if the economic activity just get picked up, then these loans become a good loan, and perhaps banks end up making most money on these kind of loan, because when the loan is get restructured, invariably the rate of interest goes up. So we don't have that kind of negative view on the NP of the banking stock. I think the moment you see some investment demand picking up in 6 to 8 months or 12 month time, you see a lot of these restructured loan and NPA loan over a period of time has become good. That is what we have seen in past as well. So we don't have too much concern on NP, and we believe whatever concern one has actually got priced in. So if you look at the banking stock, interest rates are at high level, the demand is not picking up, there are a lot of NPAs, concern on the NPA. So this is perhaps the time where a lot of these negative has been priced in, and one could look at owning these stocks in your portfolio.
Okay, so that's the word on banking. Vijay, what about commodities? Because there's a whole lot of talk about how the hard landing or the soft landing or the other arguments in China would have an impact on how the commodities trade shapes up. The Q2 data today from China has pretty much been in line with estimates, and therefore no great shakes right now in the commodity pack. But what happens over the next 6 months? What's your best case?
No, I think we believe that commodities are not going to go up from these level. On the contrary, we're going to see some softening on the commodity front, because the only engine which was clicking is China. And there's a consensus that China would not grow over the next 5 to 10 years the way it grew over the last 15 to 20 years. So China was the only country which was consuming a lot of commodity. If there's slowdown there, in the sense that instead of 10% GDP growth, the GDP growth may come to 6 to 8% level, then I think definitely commodities are going to go down. The only hope people have is that because the developed world is going through these challenges, so there will come more quantum easing. I don't think that is going to happen that fast because the jury is still divided on those things, because they have seen last couple of easing has not helped that significantly. On the contrary, it has created more problem. So this time around, they are not going to be mindless. They are going to be much more purposeful in doing easing. They will look at the data and say, will this help easing? Otherwise, they will not do it. So we believe that commodity over the next 6 to 12 months is not the space one needs to be in right now. We are not seeing the commodity price correction in Indian market because of rupee depreciation.
Vijay, what about the auto space? And do you think the dream run is over, considering the slowdown concerns are pretty much haunting this space as well? We've seen what some of the auto ancillary makers are up to nowadays with shutting plants in order to avoid an inventory build-up.
No, I think auto is you're absolutely right, and we see there are many challenges. One is that people's earning level has not gone up. The salary level of last 3-4 years has been not very high. Second thing, inflation is hitting people's pocket, and third thing is interest rate hike. So I think all these combination make people either to postpone their decision. They say, okay, I'm not going to buy the car or vehicle, let me wait for 6 or 8 months, or postpone their decision to upgrade. So I think that is hurting. And we believe the monsoon, if the monsoon is not going to be good, then I think we even have a challenge in the rural market. And third factor one need to keep in mind is that we have seen in many cities now the metro lines are being put in place. That will have a long-term impact on the demand on the auto industry. So I believe the auto industry have some challenges. So we would like to be underweight on the auto industry right now unless we see some pocket of excellence, which we don't see in too many stocks right now.
Okay. Vijay, what are you doing with the high valuation consumption stocks? So essentially, I'm not talking about the large caps like an ITC or an HUL. There is a large second rung pocket which is again trading at premium valuations compared to some large caps on the index as well. Are you still holding on to them? Are you still, I mean, what's your view? Do you think they'll still continue to trade at these valuations, or would they come lower?
No, we are not, for very simple reason that they are available at very high price, and the growth in the top line does not justify these kind of price hikes. So we are absolutely underweight on the FMCG and consumption story.